Our live stream is now operational. Morena tātou, good morning everyone. Welcome to the first City Delivery Committee meeting of the trimester. It's really fantastic. We have a very full public forum this morning, so thank you also to our guests for coming in this morning as well. We will begin with karakia. Kia inoi tātou, tuia I runga, tuia I raro, tuia I roto, tuia I waho, tuia ngā kaimahi o te kaunihira o Kirikiriroa, whaia te iti kahurangi, kia u, kia mau, kia ita, haumie, huie, taikia. Kia ora. All right, this morning before we begin, I'm actually going to pass over to Mayor Tim, who's going to say a few words in regard to the sad passing of Edwina Rimington, our former Mayoress. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Chair Sarah, for allowing me to do this, to councillors, staff, visitors, and to those who are watching online. Yes, it's just appropriate, I think, at this occasion that we acknowledge the death at the weekend of our former Mayoress, Edwina Rimington, who was an extraordinarily gracious, elegant, warm-hearted person who served our community over many years in a variety of different ways. And Russ was the first to acknowledge that he would not have been able to fill the roles that he held in public life. He was a councillor, he was mayor, later he went to the Waikato Regional Council and ended his time there as chairman. So he depended heavily on her. He dedicated his book to her for keeping the home fires burning, but also for being so supportive out in the community. Many will remember her very, very warmly, and sadly after a short illness she died at the weekend. In about an hour, Deputy Mayor Jeff, Councillor Jamie Strange and I will be leaving, and apologies for having to leave the meeting, in order to represent Hamilton City Council at her funeral. But I just thought it was appropriate at this first formal opportunity to extend our condolences to the family, and I'd be grateful if members would join me in a moment's silence, please, for Edwina.
Thank you, Mayor Tim. Right, we're moving to apologies, and as noted, we have partial apologies from Mayor Tim and Deputy Mayor Jeff. We also have a partial apology from Councillor Jamie, so if we could just add that to the minutes. Thank you. Are there any other apologies to be aware of? Wonderful. All right, so I'll move those apologies, seconded by our Deputy Mayor. All those in favour? Right. Confirmation of the agenda. I do want to note that there have been some changes to the order of the agenda since it was published online. So for our online viewers in particular, we are going to be moving the Minor Transport Improvements Program to the end of today. My intention is to ensure that those attending the funeral are able to be present for the voting on this matter. I may take some questions earlier, but we won't be having any substantive debate on it until 1:30. That may mean, if we're very efficient, that we have a long lunch break. All right, so we also, I'm just having a look here, no, that's all at this stage. So are there any issues with the agenda? Otherwise I will move, and Councillor Emma will second. All those in favour? Thank you. Declarations of interest, are there any? No. Public forum. Let's get into it. So our first presenter today is Grace Tebbit, speaking to item 5, the Chair's report. And hopefully everyone, good morning, Grace. Thank you for coming in person. And I do just want to acknowledge the huge amount of work that you have put into pulling together this petition and a very detailed submission, including video links, so hopefully all elected members have had a chance to read and watch. Well, yes, watch with caution.
Yeah, please do. So Lloyd Drive is a residential street. It's supposed to be a quiet street, situated between Baverstock Road and Dominion Road. Crawshaw Primary School is just a few metres from Lloyd, and it is also a throughway for Fraser High School students as well. Often we see parents with pushchairs, we see families, we see elderly people walking the street. However, it is a very dangerous street, as you have probably seen in the video support. Some of it is very confronting, so if you haven't watched it yet, please watch it with caution. The length and layout of Lloyd allows people to exceed well above 50. It's not a twisty-turny road, it's a very straight road, and it allows people to use it as a shortcut and as a drag strip. On the 29th of August 2025, me and my husband bought our first home on Lloyd, and on that day itself, there was a car crash. A car crashed into a well power box just one house down from ours, doing excessive speeds, lost control and went into the fence, crashing through the electrical box. As we met our neighbours, we learnt that this wasn't an uncommon occurrence. This was not unusual. This happened all the time. So residents also told us that in 2023, there was a very serious accident involving 8 teenagers who were driving along Lloyd, lost control. They kind of hit a car outside 18 Lloyd Drive, wrote it off, flipped the car into the front yard and smashed into a tree. This meant that the 14-year-old boy in the boot of the car sustained very critical injuries, and had it not been for a nurse who lived next door, the paramedics said that he would have been dead by the time the paramedics arrived. This was because the car was travelling at excessive speed. Has there been speed control measures put in place then, this probably would not have happened to that extent. After that, the Hamilton City Council had said that they were planning on putting in speed control measures on the road, so we were all super excited about that. On the 2nd of January this year, one of my cats got hit and killed by a speeding car, and I know it was a speeding car and not just a cat accident, as it were, because of the camera footage that we received after it, as we have cameras outside the property. After this, I decided that I needed to know when these speed bumps were going to be introduced in 2026. Unfortunately, I found out that this had been overturned, and that's why I'm here today. I went door knocking on every single house on Lloyd and discovered every single house wanted to sign. They had brought it up to the council in the past with their concerns, but unfortunately there had been either no or we're going to do something about it in the future. So every single house did sign apart from 2, and they were concerned about the emergency access. How would the emergency services get through? However, the rest of the street were fully on board, and that's rare for one street to agree about something. And even while I've been gathering those signatures, in the last couple of months, there has been another car crash due to speeds. And many of the residents have said it's not isolated, it is along the street. And on behalf of Lloyd Drive and surrounding streets, I'm asking the council to urgently implement this speed control measure, because next time it's not going to be an animal. It's going to be a kid, it's going to be someone elderly crossing the street. It's a bus route, so passengers are walking all the street all the time. Please don't let someone get killed before something is done for this street, because that's not going to be good enough. And I'm not going to stop, me and the residents, until something is implemented. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace, for your extremely clear presentation. So speakers today will have 3 minutes. I was going to allow a maximum up to 5 minutes in total with some questions, if there are any, for clarity only. So questions, I've got 2. Councillor Angela.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And again, thank you, Grace, for your time today and with all the videos, etc. I just want to know, you've said that you were told by staff that the project was cancelled or delayed. Did they give a reason?
No, they haven't given a reason. It was basically said, no, this wasn't going to happen. But if we wanted it to happen, then I'd have to do something about it. So that's what I did.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Emma.
Thank you, and thank you, Grace, for meeting with us recently and for your extensive work on this project. We know that raised safety platforms are a bit contentious, but do you think there would be any other interventions that would work for this street, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I don't believe so. I've spoken to the residents and they believe that chicanes would be seen as a challenge to get through at those speeds, as it is a dragway. I think that the speed cushions potentially would help, as they allow the buses to go through and the emergency services to get through. But again, with the motorbikes that go down with the no helmets and everything, they're just going to bypass that straight through. I do believe that the safety platforms are the way forward.
Kia ora.
Thank
Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you very much, Grace. Thank you again for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Cool. What's that? I do. We have hit the 5-minute mark, so apologies. I do want to just note that the Chair's report does include mention of the petition. It has a noting recommendation that this item, well, options for potential solutions for Lord Drive will come to an upcoming workshop. So if elected members support that, then we will be able to have further discussion around that. Okay, moving to second presenter, Erin Clayton from St Pius School. Good morning, Erin. Thank you for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you first for the work that you've already done around our school for a safer speed zone. There's a permanent 30 kilometres there, and there's a positive step and genuinely shows your care and concern. However, our challenge is our school is physically hidden behind the church from the road, and there is little visual evidence that our school exists. As a result, many local drivers use this road as a shortcut to avoid the main road and regularly travel well above the 30 kilometre speed limit, as the main roads connected on either side are 60 kilometres. Compounding this, there is currently no safe or defined crossing space for our students. Melville Primary further down the road has one, but we don't. And so the speed limit exists, but the road design does not yet support the behaviour for the drivers. In the first days of school, particularly on the wet afternoons, I personally observed cars coming quickly around the nearby roundabout, accelerating straight into what is already a congested and unpredictable pickup environment. Add rain, reduce visibility, children, stressed drivers. It's honestly a miracle that we haven't had a serious accident outside our school. I understand that raised platforms have in some areas received public pushback, especially around schools, where they appear unnecessary. However, outside a school and a church with a permanent safe speed zone already in place, it seems like a logical step. Engineers have already identified this as a suitable site for a raised crossing. Beyond slowing vehicles, it will provide a clearly defined, visible and safe crossing point. It will also allow our school to operate a staffed crossing before and after school, raising our visibility, letting the locals know that there is a school there and that's why we need the crossing. It would also mean that the behaviour is enforced by the environment. We've got a 30 kilometre sign up. People miss it, they think it's the 40 Ks, they think it's the 60 Ks. When you've got the crossing, you're forced to do the 30 Ks over it. We're not asking for something outside what's already been done. We're not asking for something that it doesn't match what has happened outside Melville Primary. The environment and the use of the space, especially our children, really need this. So I strongly consider putting out a raised platform outside our school.
Thank you very much, Erin. Are there any questions? Yes, Councillor Jamie.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. Just in terms of raised platforms, I'm sure you've observed across the city there are different types of raised platforms. Some are very steep and, very difficult to go over and put a lot of stress on the cars. Others are more gradual. Do you have a view on whether a more gradual platform would work?
I think the one matching what Melville Primary has at the back of their school, so they also, where Pine Avenue turns into Ehrlich, exactly the same. So it just shows that the safer speed area starts with us and ends with them, and that's why it's there. Whereas it just is the one
and
there.
that one is more of a gradual one, sort of, or sort of in between.
It's a crossing one, so it is
crossing.
raised to be added to be a crossing for the road.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Councillor, we've got Councillor Angela and then Councillor Emma.
Yep, Thank you, Erin. Thank you for a really clear submission. Completely support you. Just question on the 30k sign, is it a variable one or is it a permanent one?
It's a permanent safe speed zone. Unfortunately, at the very beginning of this year, in the first week of school, the safe speed zone got taken out by a car and it hasn't been replaced. And I have logged that with the council, but it's not obvious. People don't realise it goes from 40 to 30 to 40 to 60 again.
But it's always been a permanent sign?
No, so the 30k sign came up with the 30k zones around
Right.
schools, but it's never been a flashing sign or
Okay.
anything like that. It's
Awesome.
been the permanent 30ks.
Thank you.
Okay, and we've still got a minute and a bit, don't we? So, Councillor Emma?
And thank you so much for your submission. I agree, it's a busy church and busy school. I distinctly remember seeing Pioneer as a project on the list. I guess can I have clarification from staff that this is a project that will be brought to the workshop for consideration?
Usually it's just questions for submitters, but I will allow clarification because I think we've got a couple of presentations from schools. Kevin?
Yeah, so these are the very type of things that we will be putting in that workshop, which is scheduled.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, and final question from Councillor Graham.
Just a quick one, raised platform, you're wanting lights on it as well?
It doesn't have to have lights. I think if we can use it as a staffed crossing, so the children, the signs out, signs and lollipop crossings, and before and after school, it just gives that visual reminder as to why it needs
So
to be there.
it could, if Lytton would be better,
Pardon?
lights would be better to push
Yes.
as a visual?
If that's available, yes.
Cool. Thank you very much for that. All right, thanks, Erin. So our third presenter is Marie from Hamilton Girls High School. Welcome. And thank you to our presenters for being so succinct and clear in your presentations. Morena.
Kia ora koutou. Ko Mari Gordon, toku ingoa. Kia ora me Tim, Councillor Sarah and Councillor Jamie. I stand or I sit before you as not only the current principal of Hamilton Girls High School, a responsibility I have carried since 2013, but the latest in a line of principals who have been forced to make the same case for more than 25 years. For 3 decades, we've been asking for one simple thing, that our young women can go to school and return home safely. Every single day, 1,840 students move through Ruakiwi Road, Tainui Street, Ward Street, Hill Street and the Ward-Tristram intersection. These are not minor side streets. This is a high-density, inner-city environment carrying heavy commuter traffic each and every day. We teach our ākonga to be courageous, resilient and ambitious, but courage should not be required to cross a road. The current infrastructure is not merely outdated, it is unsafe. We experience near misses weekly. At the free left turn from Tristram Street into Ward Street, driver speed routinely overrides pedestrian right-of-way. At Tainui in Ward Street and on Hill Street, students navigate traffic flows that do not prioritise their safety. Let me be clear, this is not hypothetical risk. It is a predictable incident waiting to happen. I'm not here for sympathy, I'm here for decisive action in the long-term plan. We require for the ensured safety of our students, 1, a Barnes Dance crossing at the Ward Street lights. Our students move in large groups because that is how humans move. The intersection must reflect that reality. A dedicated pedestrian phase for 15 minutes in the afternoon would materially reduce risk and allow safe, efficient clearance in all directions. 2, raised gradual pedestrian crossings, speed tables, at key entry points on Tainui Street and Hill Street. If you want drivers to slow down, give them a physical reason to do so. It is difficult to understand why speed tables exist a block away from our school in sometimes curious locations, yet are not outside the gates of a school with nearly 2,000 young women. 3, high visibility school zone signage at Tainui and Ward Street. Clear, unavoidable signalling that this is a school environment, not a commuter shortcut, is needed. 4, remote drop-off zones. Work with us to move congestion away from our gates, reduce vehicle density at peak times and encourage safer walking routes. It is often said it takes a village to raise a child. Hamilton Girls High School is part of your village. These students in the city you help to govern and run are part of your responsibility. I've advocated for this since 2013. My predecessors did the same before me. 30 years of advocacy is not impatience, it is persistence in the face of inaction. Make no mistake, this has gone on far too long and needs decisive action urgently. I would very much like to be the last principal who has to stand or sit at this podium and argue that a teenager's life is worth more than a 30-second delay to commuter traffic. Do not simply receive this submission. Do not simply note it, fund it. Invest in infrastructure that reflects the value of the young women who walk these streets every day. The most fiscally responsible decision you can make is to prevent the incident that will cost far more than this investment ever will. Prevention is always cheaper than regret, and this council has the opportunity to prove that it understands the difference. I implore you to exercise your authority with responsibility by ensuring that our young women can make their way to and from school safely. Thank you. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora. Thank you, Marie. What I will do, if there are questions again around the workshop and items coming to that or for staff, hold that for the Chair's report because that does refer to a relevant item there. But if you've got questions, Councillor Jamie?
Question from Councillor Anna.
Oh,
She wants to
Councillor
go
Anna
first.
first, yeah.
Kia ora, thank you, Mari, for your very clear presentation. Just a question on the Ruakiwi Road proposal. I noticed you did bring up raised safety platforms, or is that something you would prefer there, or are you comfortable with what we have proposed with a signalised, not raised crossing?
So, yes, that decision was already made. I'm here because I have been in constant consultation with Cameron from City Council, and I am a little bit worried about the traffic flow on Ruakiwi Road. That will slow it down, and I come that way every day, so you can see where cars are trying to get through Tainui Street onto that. So the answer is yes, I will be watching this space. That will slow it down. Will slow the traffic down on Ruakiwi Road.
My question was more around the raised safety platform aspect, but sounds like you're comfortable. Thank you.
I'm comfortable.
Okay, all right, thank you. We have run out of time, sorry, Councillor Jamie. Okay, thank you.
Can I hear Councillor?
Really quickly, but we'd need a very
Very
response.
quickly, it's just the recent growth in school numbers and also like looking forward in terms of projected growth and then use of the gym and, you know, things are ramping up, aren't they?
Projected growth is 2,200 in the next 2 years. I have a 400 student wait list for Year 9s, wait list. I have 400 students in there now. You've got 400 Year 9 girls who can't get into our kura.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have an alumni over? Oh, 2 alumni. All right. Our next speaker is Mark from Norton School. Morena, Mark.
Morena, and thank you all for letting me speak today.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming in.
So like said, I'm from Norton School. I'm the assistant principal there, and I tautoko all the talk that's happened so far from the other speakers. My claim or my request is on the same vein. We have Grandview Road on the back of our school, which has seen increased traffic over the last 3 to 4 years, with over 300 houses going into the Norton and Crawshaw area last year alone, and another 150 proposed in that area where they take the bigger houses and split them into 5 or 6 units. We have noticed that with that crossing, which is currently a Kia Crossing Road Patrol, where we have our 10-year-old kids manning it with a duty teacher, it's becoming increasingly unsafe for the students out there. We constantly have cars running through the crossing, parking on the footpath, parking on the side of the road, speeding through there, ignoring the raised crossing bit, using it as an opportunity to try to get through that area quicker. And so our proposal we'd like to submit is changing it into lights to stop and prevent the students having to, as 10-year-olds, take the time to try to judge gaps, to put signs out that are just being ignored anyway. and then the students and the duty teacher are getting abused when they are stopping the traffic in that area. Part of the cause, along with the houses, is that the Norton Shopping Centre has improved and Avalon Drive is growing as well as a shopping area. And so now Grandview Road is becoming a thoroughfare to get between the shops and also in that area, which is growing. So, yeah, thank you. I'd like to just propose that we could look at getting lights put in on that crossing. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your very clear and succinct submission. Do we have any questions? I did actually meet with you last year, and we outside of the school. So thank you for inviting.
No
us
problem.
out.
And you're always welcome to come anytime if you want to come have a look. I'm happy to stand out there with you in the mornings at 8:15 or 8:45
Yep,
to 9:15.
Thank you. One question from Deputy Mayor Jeff.
Look, thank you very much for that, and I use it every day,
Oh.
and it's quite a nice steep one, so I have to slow down. Do you, the people who behave that way, what can you do about it? Do you record their number plates and
Yeah.
pass it on, or?
So I'll be
'cause I mean,
honest, I
it's
got
just-
nervous and skipped a bit, but in the past we have had police come out and they've monitored it a couple of times and have given out tickets for people that have ran through it and also requested that, or said to us it's probably not safe for kids to be manning it. And we also had the Hamilton City Council send out the parking wardens, and in a 15-minute blitz they gave over 17 tickets to cars parked inappropriately. Another option that could help is moving the bus stop further back. It's quite close to the crossing, which means when the bus is there, not normally at the crossing times, but if it does appear at that time, it does block visibility as well, heading towards the Norton Shopping Centre side, causing issues for the kids who don't have great spatial awareness, as us putting signs out trying to judge those gaps.
Okay, thank you very
Cool,
much.
thank you. I've noticed we've got quite a few written submissions, but that yourself, Marie and Erin, you had some written notes. I'm just I think you did. It'd be quite good if you're happy to share those with our governance team if you haven't already, so that we can have those at hand to refer back to. Yeah, cool. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
I will leave. I need to get back to school.
Okay,
so
yes.
Don't want to be rude, but I will sneak out.
You can always, given this item, what have we got? Yeah, we'll cover in the chair's report, but also you can always come back and watch live stream if anyone is particularly interested in doing so. Okay, we're moving to our next speaker, Simon Campbell, speaking to item 6, Minor Transport Improvements Program. Morena, welcome, Simon.
Good morning. My name is Simon Campbell. I live in East Street with 2 small children who like to walk and bike around the neighbourhood. My wife and I use the Peach Grove Road East Street intersection daily as cyclists, pedestrians and motorists. We worry about each other and the children each time one of us has to cross this intersection. The intersection is unsafe to cross by all modes of transport: cars, bicycle, walking and other forms of personal mobility. This submission will articulate multiple issues with this intersection. The first is the crossing between East Street to East Street is unsafe due to the blind corner and extended crossing distance. The blind corner frustrates drivers who take risky manoeuvres to move on. Number 2, pedestrians crossing Eastern East Street have an inadequate crossing refuge through a car park and with no curb cutout. You must cross 13 metres of roadway, which is quite a lot when you're crossing on foot. The existing crossing south of East Street is inadequate and unsafe. It is small, unlevel, and not mobility friendly. The intersection needs addressing urgently before somebody is in a serious accident. Peach Grove Road is a very busy road. This intersection is utilised by residents, shop patrons, and school children who cycle and walk through this area. There are 4 schools in the immediate area. Many young families utilise this intersection due to multiple daycares and the Clawlands Park being at the western end of East Street. Many pedestrians walk to the Woolworths and there is a well-utilised bus stop in the area. A notable number of bike commuters utilise the Waitere Drive tunnel to and from the city centre. Development I am aware of that may put further demand on this intersection include 48 homes at 174 Peachgrove Road, which is situated right on this intersection, and a further 12 homes nearing completion in Sullivan Crescent, which is probably estimated about 100 metres up the road. And I'll note that that's actually part of the Hamilton City's elder housing portfolio, so accessibility and, sorry. I have seen initial high-level options for resolving the issues noted above and support the direction these options are taking. Specific notes on the preferred option are the turning restriction eliminates one safety hazard for the straight-through traffic. The curb build-outs reduce crossing time and distance. The curb build-outs tighten the turning radius and perceive space for natural speed reductions. And the signalised crossing provides a method and opportunity for vulnerable road users to cross between East Street and across Peachgrove Road. Unfortunately, these designs are all talk and no action if nothing actually happens. I plead that the council approves the suggested program, including this. Thank you.
Thank you. And bang on time. Thank you for that. All right. Do we have questions at the moment? That was a really clear submission. Okay, I don't have questions at the moment, but I think that's testament to how clear your submission was. So thank you very much for that, Simon. And we'll be considering this item this afternoon at 1:30 p.m. with possibly some questions before lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We have next Rick from Living Systems Development. Welcome. Is Rick here? Is a question. No, it doesn't look like Rick is here. Okay. We'll move on for now. There is a written submission available, however, on Diligent from Living Systems. Ben from Te Awa Lakes. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you for coming in person. Okay, so we have 3 minutes speaking time, then a couple of extra minutes for questions if there are some from elected members.
Thanks,
All
Sarah.
yours.
So just like to give a bit of an update on Te Awa and just talk through the things that we've been working through with the council staff. So Te Awa Lakes is in support of the recommendation that Robin has put through around reducing the speed limit on Te Rapa Road outside the service centre that's connected in Te Awa Lakes. So this bus stop upgrade and signalised crossing will help serve the first sort of 700 dwellings within Te Awa Lakes before we look at what might potentially be a bit more of a transport hub in that area as that northern node grows. So we're expecting the first residents to move in sort of April, May of this year. So getting this bus shelter and pedestrian crossing built at this speed limit will be a key piece of infrastructure to support, you know, kids going to school and our first affordable homes as well with public transport connections. Yeah, that's all I have for today, and yeah, happy to answer any questions.
All right. Do we have any questions from elected members for Ben at this stage? I don't see any. Thank you very much, Ben, for coming in. That's really good to hear the progress on Te Awa Lakes. Appreciate that, and we'll be considering the item later today. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers. Right, we have our final speaker for this morning, Kelly Pike from Go Eco, speaking to item 8, barriers to curbside rubbish and recycling, and there's also a written submission available. Oh, and we have Simon as well. Good morning, Simon.
I'm just going to use this time to toe-talk all the previous... not to speak about safer roads.
I like the creative use of walking time.
3 minutes isn't long.
No, it isn't long. Thank you for probably having to compress your speech, so thank you very much. All yours.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Aote Whenua, ko Te Whenua Ko'o. Waikato Environment Centre Go Eco supports option 1, no change to rubbish and recycling services, and investment in community-led zero waste hubs or resource recovery centres. I'll use those terms interchangeably. Do we have slides? Yeah. Waste is a product of a linear economy that treats the environment as a bottomless pit instead of a loop to close and nurture. Our per capita landfill volumes are going up, and some of the highest in the OECD. But today we come to you with a solution. Kia ora, ko Kelly Pike tōku ingoa. I proudly lead Go Eco's Parekuri Pou with projects in climate resilience, energy and waste, reuse and food rescue. Our vision is a Waikato where people, whenua and taio thrive through circular and regenerative and tikanga-aligned waste systems led by community. I am Deputy Chair of Zero Waste Aotearoa, who represent community enterprises, actively sharing knowledge and skills to build a waste-free future. I'm here with the support of some of my Go Eco team today, including Simon here, and Joe and Kerry in the back. Next slide. Oh, maybe next slide, sorry. Zero waste hubs are place-based solutions focused at the top of the waste hierarchy: rethink, reduce, reuse, repair and resource recovery. Go Eco measures the impact through 4 wellbeings: economic wellbeing. Resource recovery generates $4.50 to $8.80 in combined social and environmental return on investment. Roughly 80 cents of every dollar spent with a community recycler stays in that community. Diverting waste at the source defers massive capital expenditure on landfills. Council investment acts as a leverage, allowing community groups to attract significant external funding. Environmental wellbeing. Commercial operators profit from volume. This is increasingly problematic when those contracted to operate transfer stations also own the landfills. Community hubs are the only model incentivised to work at the top of the waste hierarchy. And all of this, particularly organic diversion, is climate action directly lowering emissions. Next slide. Cultural wellbeing. Ko te whenua ko te whenua ko'o. This model moves beyond waste management to kaitiakitanga, empowering mana whenua and community groups to lead environmental solutions in their own rohi. Social wellbeing. Resource recovery is a massive driver for local, meaningful jobs, training and skill development. Empowering communities to participate in the circular economy is an opportunity for economic, environmental, cultural and social impact, and we look forward to delivering this with you. And up there we have Extreme Zero in Whangaroa Raglan, so if you haven't seen a really well-run community-led Zero Waste Hub, that's the one you should visit. It's used as a poster child across Aotearoa. So we should be really proud. They've been there 25 years, I believe.
Thank you. Kia ora, thank you. Are there any questions for our presenters? I don't see any at the moment, but that is a good reminder to go and visit Extreme Zero Waste.
There are numerous examples around Aotearoa, but Zero Waste is, at the top.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for all of the work that you've put into this as well. I really appreciate it.
So, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Year's report. Thank you again to our submitters. It is really cool to have people come in and speak to us directly in the chambers. There we go. In terms of the Chair's report, I'll take it largely as read. I did want to make a couple of comments. Firstly, though, to thank everyone for working together on this agenda. There's been lots of issues that have been raised and questions well before the meeting. We've had a chance to talk through them, work with staff on them, and I'm quite confident that actually we're going to get some good decisions today and have a smooth meeting. So thank you for coming directly to myself and Mesh with those issues and questions well before the meeting. That's been extremely helpful. One slight correction to my Chair's report, which maybe we should note in the minutes. I say here, I understand that NZTA has also cut back on roadside maintenance funding, leading to less frequent maintenance of grass gardens along our state highways. I've circulated an email with clarification from staff. Essentially, we receive $51,000 a year from NZTA to go towards state high maintenance. We then further contribute to that by around 150. And the issue is more that our state highway network has grown, costs have gone up, but that subsidy has not kept up. So we are seeing reductions in levels of service. But it's not that the quantum has decreased here, although it has in many other parts of the country as they've moved away from regular maintenance to only doing roadside berm maintenance when it's a safety issue. Are there any questions? Yes, I've got Councillor Angela first and then Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for your first report for this new committee. Just a clarification on the motion in your Chair's report. You've mentioned there are options to respond to the Lloyd Drive petition and that's going to come to the workshop.
Yep.
Actually, two questions. Is there a benefit now, perhaps to staff, is there a benefit now to ensuring that the Lloyd Drive options are prioritised rather than, I don't want it to go through lengthy processes, minor transport program, there's a whole lot of things on there. I'd like it prioritised. Is there a benefit of doing that via the Chair's motion now, or are staff all over it?
I think what we would need to do is get the direction that Lloyd Drive is an area that you'd like staff to consider, and then at that workshop we can propose what options are available. We're probably not in a position at this stage to give you the right advice about what those options could be.
No, but we could prioritise it on the list.
So through the Chair, absolutely. If that would help staff out a lot, because we've got a lot on that list.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
I think what could be helpful is it's noted in the motion for the minor transport improvements program that we are going to be having a workshop on the 25th of March but it notes that there'll be high level options provided for transport project options, and that's to avoid staff putting a lot of time into projects that then we say no thank you to. So they're going to be very high level proposals. So what could be helpful is for us to say actually we want something at a high level of detail for Lloyd Drive, and so that additional work is put into.
That's the priority that I would be seeking.
So if maybe what would be appropriate wording? Notes.
And just perhaps this might help, Chair.
Yeah.
And following on the back of that, the submitters that we heard from today, particularly the schools, I would be wanting those to have a high priority as well.
Okay.
So that would help staff in coming back with a whole lot of high-level options on the whole transport project and focus just on these ones. I'm only one member around the table, obviously, but that would be my wish at this point.
Okay. What we can do is quickly work on some wording there. It could say note options to respond to the Lloyd Drive petition and requests from schools will be provided to elected members, noting these will be priority items.
Yes, please. Yeah.
So if you can help with that, Kieran, that would be fantastic. Do you have any further questions, Councillor Andrew?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have Anna, Councillor Anna on Zoom.
Thank you. Just a clarification. Just a clarification on the NZTA level of funding and the decrease going forward. Are you So basically, the level of service that we have currently is going to reduce going forward. Am I reading your email correctly?
So it says, going forward, reduced service levels will apply. Mowing will decrease from 10 to 5 cycles per year, and garden maintenance will move from an 8-week to a 12-week cycle. Tanya, this is on the state highway network, is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. And it's because NZTA have had to reprioritise their funding as well.
So, Sarah, just for clarity, your motion talks about advocacy.
Yes.
Can you just, what kind of advocacy did you have in mind, just for understanding?
So part would be to write to NZTA around this, and we have raised already with Andrew Corkle, who encouraged us to make a formal approach to NZTA, but also through working with the Mayor's office, discuss the appropriate way to correspond with the Transport Minister as well. And that would be ahead of the government policy statement. There may also be other issues we would, as a council, like to advocate on in regard to that policy statement. For example, public transport service improvements. Hamilton missed out on any last GPS. So there could be an opportunity, maybe an elected member only time, to further discuss that before a letter goes out. But this was just one item that we wanted to get approval from everyone on to advocate on. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have Councillor Graham next.
Thank you, Chair Sarah. You probably know that during campaign, speed bumps could be the bane of my existence, but I think at times on Lloyd Drive, right now we could install some temporary speed bumps. They are available like
So
what we've got on Ross
keep
Trevor
it
Street.
to a question, Councillor.
Sorry?
Can you form that into a question?
Can we possibly utilise temporary speed bumps on Lloyd Drive in the interim to slow the speeds down until we get to a formal point that we can come up with a solution? And these bolt in, they can come and come out, they're quite reasonably cheap to procure, and it might give us a solution to buy time on a road that's going to cause an accident.
Can we have that as a discussion point for our workshop as well?
It's a long way away.
It is. You would have to include and staff probably aren't in a position to provide, advice on that. It's a little bit difficult.
No, through the chair, that's quite a difficult ask to do temporary, but it's something we could definitely consider through the workshop. And this, this is a priority. We've heard from them this morning. If you tell us that that's a priority, we'll look at that and work our way through that. But temporary things can take a fair bit of effort and time to get those in. So,
we may have to consult. And you'd potentially have to go through the same processes of consultation and various things for something temporary. So we certainly can consider all options when we get to that workshop. It's just over a month away. Right, we had more questions. Councillor Sue.
Thank you. My question is actually about the NZTA advocacy on the road maintenance and the gardens. So will the advocacy be to not reduce, or will the advocacy be to, in fact, increase? Because I note that there's already been a reduction in the maintenance.
I will look at this motion. I think, from memory, I said restore. Can we pull that up on the screen? So restore would be actually to stop it. I suppose that's a slightly ambiguous word because it could mean to stop them from decreasing further, or it could be to restore it back because it's already decreased, right? So my intention was for it to go to improve from where it is now, to restore it back to where it had been at an earlier point. I suppose
I think restore is the correct phrase. I was just checking that that's what was the intention. Then, Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Who do I have now? Councillor Leo? And, sorry, Mayor Tim, you looked like you...
Option that could be work with the Mayor's Office on advocacy to achieve adequate NZTA funding. Would that help? You prefer, so I'm relaxed, I'm just... I take your point.
But yours might mean more.
Yeah, I take your point. It could do, yeah.
Rather than just...
I'm relaxed, I'm just trying to do something helpful too.
Have to be realistic too on what we'll get out of them, so...
The main thing is the Mayor's Office understands what people are asking for.
Yeah.
The level of funding that enables us to deliver the level of service that we want to deliver. So I'm not sure restoring achieves that.
It could be, just thinking about wording, on advocacy to NZTA for funding that achieves appropriate levels of service for an urban area, or something like, let's, To restore NZTA.
Assumption that it had been cut, and you have since updated that, so...
So to increase, we'll say on advocacy to increase NZTA funding to achieve appropriate levels of service for an urban area for roadside maintenance. And I can give comfort to Councillor Sue in the fact that I'm very passionate about having tidy roadsides. So we'll work with staff on what actually would be an appropriate level of service, and we can update elected members on that. If anyone has concerns, then let me know. But that allows for a little bit of dialogue then between elected members around once we take this away, and so Mesh and I can work on that if elected members feel comfortable with that. Funding to achieve on advocacy to increase, okay, I think that's good enough. All right, Councillor Leo.
My question simply is, do we have a map of NZTA's area?
So it would be all of the state highway network. We presumably would be pretty easy to...
We could circulate something through executive update.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Maria.
Kia ora, thank you for your report, Chair Sarah, and for the support of your Deputy Mesh as well. My question is totally not transport related, but there is some alignment there. I know that until July 2026 comes around, this portfolio is responsible for managing stormwater. Now, in terms of our integrated catchment management plans, what kind of oversight will this committee still have of that, if any?
That's a good question. I'm just looking, in my report, I talk about the committee work program and mention stormwater there. Currently our intention is to make sure that we have a good look at stormwater and required investment before the long-term plan, so that we can make, as a committee, a decision around giving guidance for that long-term plan, what would be the priorities. But beyond that, Kevin and Tanya, Kevin, would you have any further comments there?
Yeah, through the chair, the service level agreements and other work is really happening right now around stormwater with EY. The key intent is, these assets stay with us, and we will have staff in here that are assisting in those integrated management plans and making sure that we are aligned with our thinking, because all of the funding through the LTP and the processes for stormwater have to come back through this council.
Yes, kia ora.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, particularly with what we're seeing with severe weather events becoming increasingly frequent at quite a frightening rate. So that is very much going to be top of mind when we come back with this work program. I'll take the liberty very quickly to explain my thinking around the work program. Mesh and I will work with staff. We've we've got a bit of a skeleton that we need to then develop a bit further. We'll go to the chairs group, and then I intend to put it out to elected members for further feedback and discussion before it would finally come back in April to this committee for endorsement. Okay, I don't see any further questions. Any online? Councillor Anna, we're all good? Okay. If everyone can keep their debate fairly succinct, that would be excellent. I will move and Councillor Mesh will second. I feel like I've already said enough, so I'll hold my right to reply. Deputy Mayor.
Thanks, Chair. Look, just starting off with Lloyd Drive, as it's in your report, I support the need for action there. I think it was a great submission from Grace Tibbett and others, and I know it reasonably well. I often cut through that on my motorbike on the way home, and I can certainly see, it's tempting to pick up speed there. I don't, of course, but I can see how some would. But it is, it is definitely ripe for that sort of behaviour, I think. I would support measures being taken. What measures best suit the street, I don't want to prejudge. I think that we need work done on that and come back and see what is appropriate. I overwhelmingly support the Chair's comments about city amenity, and I actually congratulate her because she has been on about this for a long, long time, and she's persistent with it, and she's right, because these are things people notice. These are things that upset them. These are things that make them feel disappointed about the city, that spoil their day. Untidy, overgrown verges and roadside gardens. It affects the way people feel. It's 101 stuff too. And it's my most common complaint that I get apart from rates, is that. And people say to me, if you guys can't look after something so simple, how can you look after a complicated city? And I feel really disappointed. I think state highways have been letting us down for a long time. And I totally support hard advocacy there with NZTA. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, we're going to have to raise our funding. So I totally support the efforts of the Chair and Mesh to work with the Mayor's office to hit this one hard. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Councillor Sue.
Oh, thank you, and congratulations on your first Chair's report for this committee. It's a great report and gives a new councillor a lot of insight into this particular area of work. I too want to support the issue around how important it is that people, when they go out their front doors, when they drive out of their front driveways, or they walk out, or they cycle out, that they look around and what they see with pride. And at the moment, I think that many residents are telling us that they don't feel that in some parts of the city. And so it is incredibly important that we get that right, because when people feel pride in their city, then it lifts everything, including the way people treat each other, the way that people treat their city, the way that people feel about their lives. So we can't underestimate its value, and I think that we should have very strong advocacy, as I know we will, around this particular issue. It's really enlightening to see in your report that we are spending 19.9 million on roads, on roading, and I think if I do my maths correctly, about 8.8 million on footpaths, both really important parts of our network about how people connect with each other, how our community goes about its business, goes about its social activity. But I really look forward to a time when we are able to talk and focus on what we are spending in public transport, or how we are in fact ensuring that we are improving our public transport network. We have a lot of issues in our city about connectivity in that space, and I certainly hope to be part of the solution to finding better ways forward. We're a growing city, and we really cannot expect to be that city where everyone jumps in their car every day and does every bit of their interaction with their community in that way. If we're going to be, as we are, the fastest growing city, if we're the soon-to-be third largest city in the country, then we have to have a different mentality about how we address people's connectivity and how they move around their community. Kia ora.
Kia ora, thank you. I will go quickly to Councillor Anna, unless you might need to go, Tim. I'll go to Mayor Tim and then Councillor Anna.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and this will be the shortest contribution I think I'll make to any council meeting this year. Fortunately, the Deputy Mayor has articulated many of the comments I was going to make. I do want to congratulate you on your Chair's report, and in particular to acknowledge the very hard work that you have been undertaking in recent days to try to ensure that there is as much awareness as possible of some very challenging issues. Councillor O'Leary and I recall well having Councillor O'Leary as the former Chair of Infrastructure and Transport, how challenging this issue can be, and while the name of the committee is different, you've taken over many of those functions. So I'll just say, well done you for what you've achieved so far, and I do want to thank you for volunteering to chair this committee. I sense that over the next few years I may need to remind you regularly that you did just that.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam. Councillor Anna.
Thank you. Just tautoko what Mayor Tim said. Yeah, Councillor Sarah, you did choose it. But thank you for being so, you and Mesh for being, Councillor Mesh, for being so incredibly responsive to our community, and over the summer as well. I think you've been the hardest working councillors, so I really appreciate your work. And I think the community that came in today and presented is testament to that. The level of engagement that you are generating in the community on these issues is commendable, because actually it is the part that our community notices the most. So it is where they get passionate and concerned, and rightly so. I did have the pleasure, I wanted to say, of biking down Heaphy Terrace yesterday on my way home, and it was lovely and well sealed and all done brilliantly. So I just want to acknowledge the staff for their good work and the work done to engage with the community there too, because it hasn't been an easy one. And I want to acknowledge Councillor Miria for your excellent question on stormwater. It's a huge issue. We have to be attentive to it. It is our important protection going forward. So I just want to really acknowledge that focus. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Anna. Councillor, that's interesting. Councillor Angela. Oh, McDonald, sorry. Councillor Mesh. Okay.
Thank you. I guess to begin with, I just wanted to express appreciation for the way that this agenda has evolved and the motions have evolved. So credit to you, Chair Sarah.
Thank you.
Because at the start, I think we had a whole lot of motions and a lot of people all over the place, but by the end, you'd managed to work through everything, and I think we've landed in a really good place. In relation to the report specifically, I wanted to speak to the transport decision-making framework review that you noted. For me, this is governance architecture where decision thresholds sit, and it determines who exercises oversight on projects and the cost involved, the disruption and the long-term network implications. To me, governance settings and consultation quality are both significant. One determines the shape and direction and when, and the other determines whether we are aligned with community expectations. Early high-quality engagement reduces friction and shapes better outcomes, and I think the public forum we had today was a good testament of that. Clear delegation, on the other hand, ensures strategic decisions are shaped at the right level. So I welcome the review as an opportunity to test whether those settings are correctly calibrated for the scale and sensitivity of the program that has been noted ahead. I also wish to endorse and speak to your comments about amenity and roadside maintenance. I'm really passionate about that as well, because to me, they're not simply cosmetic. As Deputy Jeff mentioned, it shapes whether residents feel like their city is being cared for. It shapes whether people feel like the city's under control. So in a sustained rates environment, visible standards affect public confidence. So if we're deliberate about governance and engagement at the front end and alignment, delivery will follow naturally. So I look forward to our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Angela.
Thank you, Chair. And yes, look, you're up for this role. You know you are. You love it. The committee's in very, very good hands. I'm just going to touch on two things: the amenity that other members have talked about, and also the submissions. Firstly, the amenity on the advocacy. Look, I think that's a good idea, and NZTA better look out, quite frankly, having the chair and deputy chair of this committee turn up on their doorstep. Yeah, it's quite unsatisfactory having a lower amenity, and I want to try and avoid sounding like an unreasonable person, but over the last few months and particularly this week, you know, driving through Dinsdale Roundabout, which is under NZTA contract for amenity, seeing 5 workers there standing around while 2 did the work. Look, it's not ideal, and no wonder the costs are going up. That aside, look, I just want to again recognise the request from Grace Tebbit, St Pius School, Hamilton Girls High, Norton School, and also Simon Campbell on Peachgrove and East. It's really helpful to hear from the community, and particularly those that are in charge of thousands of young, vulnerable people, and requesting raised safety platforms, because they do have a place in the right locations. They do work, they do slow down traffic, and they do save lives, even if they annoy drivers in cars. My expectation will be that we can move at pace, so that we can do that. That's the whole purpose of the Minor Transport Improvement Program. It is so elected members can respond. So let's do that. Let's respond and ensure that Principal Gordon is in fact the last principal having to come here and plead her case to ensure her students move around our city safely. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Emma.
Thank you, Chair Sarah, and congratulations on your role, and also to your Deputy Councillor Mesh. I know it's one of the busiest committees and a lot of public pressure, but I trust that together you both will balance our current financial pressures and public need well, and I certainly wish you all the best in leading that work. I also want to thank the submitters this morning who spoke in public forum. I met with Grace along with many other elected members and Suzanne, the manager of Good News Community Centre recently. The videos that she provided was graphic, but clearly demonstrated the need for speed interventions, and I look to support a solution in this workshop, prioritising that. I also thank Marie from Girls High, Norton School, St Pius, for their clear need for crossing outside schools. As Councillor O'Leary said, I've always maintained that while transport projects and raised safety platforms are a little controversial, the areas such as outside schools and rest homes where they're really essential and need to be considered heavily. I thank you also for raising the NZTA reduction for maintenance. I think if they'd seen the number of complaints over the years about Ohalpo Road or Dinsdale Roundabout, then maybe they'd have a different perspective, and I'd very much like to flood their inbox with those. As Councillor Mesh said, this is something the public sees, and it certainly can't get worse, and I would really hope that it'd get better. So thank you very much for your work, and yeah, again, wish you all the best.
Thank you. Councillor Robbie.
Tēnā koe, Chair Thompson. I too want to support your report, and congratulations on your chairmanship. Councillor O'Leary, Councillor Roundabout Mead, it's very pleased that it's been mentioned today. I know that there's a little bit of angst now that the mowing's going to be less, but I'm sure that he'll pull through and support the motions. I wanted to quickly point out that very pleased, I want to support Mayor Tim in mentioning that your processes in getting us through to today. Very pleased to be a part of an EM's hui yesterday where we discussed some things. And frankly, I think it's a model for moving forward. I've also mentioned it to Chair Corrales, refinance, that it would be lovely as EMs we can talk amongst ourselves freely and candidly prior to these council meetings. So full support for you, Councillor Sarah. Thank you very much for that. And I look forward to being a part of more of those pre-council hui. Tēnā koe.
Kia ora. Thank you. Right, Councillor Graham.
Councillor Roundabout, actually. Thank you, Chair Sarah.
Roundabout Graham.
I just want to say, hey, look, thank you for what's gone on in the last few days between staff and us to get to where we got to today. It's been great. It's around sitting around and saying, what are the outcomes we want? In my time as a councillor and before, I've spent a lot of time, and my wife's probably sick of me, but doing a lot of driving around of evenings at looking at different things. And I think probably this is the only statement I've got to make, is that We can't forget the roads, services and footpaths and access in the suburbs that we don't drive past every day. But it's where our resident ratepayers live and where the basic amenities of life and movement are so desperately required. And until we go out there and have a look, we don't actually see the problems they've got. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Councillor Maria.
O, kia ora, and tēnā no hoki koe e te tia. Wai hoki ki ngā kaimahi, me ngā tangata I tai mai ki te tuki ngā rātou kōrero to you, the chair, our staff, and the people that came in to share their submissions today. I acknowledge you all. And I'm going to talk about water, because water is my priority. And without water, we don't have life. So we know that infrastructure is not just pipes, roads, and rubbish. It is how we keep our people safe, connected, and proud of where we live. Transport, stormwater and waste must be managed together, not in silos. When we align maintenance with our integrated catchment management plans and Plan Change 14, we make smarter decisions that reduce flood risk, protect homes and care for our environment. Stormwater flows through our gullies into the Waikato River. Although EOI will be delivering stormwater services for our city, it remains our responsibility as elected members to stay on the pulse, providing sound governance and clear direction that prioritises the health of our waterways, because the health of our waterways is inextricably linked to the health of the people. Safe, well-designed transport networks improve connectivity, and we've heard that today. And not just connectivity, but safety. Responsible waste management project protects our streams, and when we maintain our infrastructure well, we also care for how our city looks and feels. Clean streets, healthy gullies, safe footpaths, and welcoming public spaces. Because pride in our city matters. When we protect people, nurture our taiao, our environment, and ensure strong oversight of the systems that serve us, we build a Kirikiriroa H-Town Hamilton that feels safe, connected and worthy of the generations who call it home. Kia ora.
Kia ora, thank you. I think that's all of the speakers, so I'm going to exercise my right of reply. Firstly, to say thank you to everyone for your excellent comments, and also I want to thank Councillor Mesh, our Deputy Chair, for all of your hard work and all of the many meetings and phone calls and all sorts of things that I have pulled you into, and you're always extremely diligent and provide really good thoughts and feedback, and I enjoy working with you, so thank you for your hard work. And thank you also, Kevin and Tanya, for particularly over the last week or two, working through this agenda with all the many questions and issues that we've worked through. Thank you for doing that, because I am really pleased to get to the point where we are today with this meeting. Thank you for everyone's comments around roadside maintenance and amenity. I think you all said it better than I ever could have, around the importance of people being able to feel pride in their city. I quite like the idea of having an instant redirect of all of our complaints straight to NZTA and the Minister of Transport, so they can see the volume that do come through, the many thousands. But in all seriousness, along with the advocacy that we're looking at to NZTA and the Minister of Transport, we also need to look at our own council's levels of service. I haven't put it up I haven't been put it up to elected members in terms of the annual plan, but there is some information I'll circulate on what it might cost to, at the very least, deal with the growth in weeds that we get over the warm season. So looking at a higher frequency of weed berm maintenance when things really go crazy over spring and summer. I'll circulate that so there's some visibility over what that might look like. And that, finally, what have we got prior to the council meeting? I wrote a note here and now I have no idea what it is. So that's, sorry, Councillor Robbie's comments. I'm going to look for our next meeting to try and squeeze in as early as possible a time where all elected members can hui, for those who want to, prior to the meeting together to talk through issues. So I'll work with governance on that. I think, yeah, hopefully it will be at least something to try and see how it goes. So I think it could be helpful. Yeah. Thank you. Let's go to the vote. All those in favour of the Chair's report and the relevant motions.
The motion is carried unanimously.
Thank you. Right, I think we'd go to one last item before morning tea break. That's Te Rapa Road speed limit change. What I'll do is, Robin, welcome to the, Robin and Tanya. What I'll do is actually just start with getting the motion on the board. Thanks, Karen. I don't think so. So the motion is slightly different to the staff recommendation. So I'm going to talk through that for the benefit of our public viewers, the many hundreds of people who will be watching right now. It's all right. There we go. It's coming. Okay. So what we've got here is B. We will be going out to consult on option 1 and option 2. The difference here is that we're not going out with a preferred option, but we'll be saying that we're considering a speed limit change, and here are the 2 options. What do you think? So the key difference there is compared to the consultation document in the report, it doesn't state what council's preferred option is in the consultation document, and it delegates myself, Councillor Mesh and Councillor Angela to approve the draft consultation, which we will need to do in a matter of days. So that gives a little bit of time for comms and transport team to do a bit more work around the wording of that to ensure it fully tells the story of how we're going to have a whole suburb of new residents living in the area, and the pros and cons of these options. Right. So we'll take the report as read unless there's any thing that we need to know that's not in there.
I'm happy to do
Okay, cool, thank you. Are there any questions? Pretty straightforward, yeah. Wonderful, all right. Well, then, thank you, Tanya and Robin, very much for being available for our questions. And we've got a mover and a seconder there, myself and Councillor Mesh. I'll speak very briefly to say that I think this is a good approach. Councillor Angela raised the concern, I think, around having a preferred option, and that we want to make sure our consultation document as well tells a good story, or tells the right story in a clear way. We have seen what a big difference how a consultation document is drafted can make. And a good example of that is the speed limit reductions on Wairere Drive, which were required to enable the Pack and Save to be built there. So essentially the Pack and Save was relied on a resource consent condition which relied on us reducing the speed in that portion of Wairere Drive. And the first time we went out, it was something like 85% of people against the speed limit change. When we went out again, and we were very clear why we were actually proposing the speed limit change, and the fact that the supermarket relied on this happening, we actually had around the opposite. It was something like 80-something% said, yes, we do want the speed limit reduced. So it was a very dramatic change in public opinion, and the only thing that had changed was that they had clearer information on why we were proposing that speed limit reduction. Okay, anyone else want to speak? Real good. Oh yes, Councillor Mesh.
Thank you. My comment is just to note how I see the specs of this. I see it's relatively narrow, it's operational, we're not revisiting whether or not we should have a pedestrian crossing. There's a consent for it. So we're just looking at, do we decrease the speed or do we not? I think what I am most encouraged about this is, and appreciative of, is the motion to delegate oversight of that consultation document before and after it goes out to public. So we've heard the concerns of elected members about how consultation needs to look and feel. And so the delegation to be able to do that gives me confidence, and hopefully it gives you confidence too. Thank you.
Cool. All right, thank you. We'll go to the vote. All of those in favour of the motion on the board? Wonderful.
The motion is carried unanimously.
Thank you. All right. I think now is a good time to have a break. Public. Oh, yeah. Hold on. One moment while we consult. Well, we don't have. We have public excluded down here now. So.
Yeah, but it's, we didn't know where it was going to fit. So
okay.
it's 11 o'clock. They should go
Right.
excluded.
Okay. So that's not an issue in the fact that we've signed up the agenda. Okay. All right. We have consulted. What we're proposing, we are trying. So for the benefit of our public viewers, at the moment council is trialling something where we go into a public excluded earlier in the day to deal with some often complex contractual matters that need our best morning brains. So that's something that we're trialling. So what we are going to do is I'll propose that we move into public excluded. We'll come back for item C1 and then move back out into public. And I don't expect item C1 to take terribly long since we already have, I think, worked through the issues that elect members had. So I'll move to go into public excluded and Councillor Mesh will second. All those in favour? Are we all?
Motion is
okay.
carried unanimously.
Thank you. And we'll now go to morning tea break and see everyone back in 15 minutes.